hello, and welcome back to the Back to My Bone podcast. As always, I'm Don Burgundy, your host. Don Burgundy, aka Chris, your host. Don Burgundy, the internet, aka Chris. Jesus Christ. What is going on? It is a little late. It is August 8th, 2022. Holy shit, my bad. And I'm cracking open a Liquid Death, not a sponsor. Oh, baby. Holy shit. So what's going on? Yeah, we put out a late episode because this past weekend I was up in North Conway with my family for my dad's birthday, tubing down the Saco River. We went yesterday, which was Monday. It was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it was cold and raining, but it is what it is. You can't control the weather. Um, Quick side note. This is now my revenge villain arc, so fuck anybody who doesn't support you, fuck anybody who doesn't reach out to you, and fuck anybody who's ever done you wrong. Just a quick side note. That's gonna be the name of the episode. But yeah, let's get right into the good stuff. So UFC, I did not watch, unfortunately, but my boy Corey Sandhagen beat Rob Font via decision. I did not watch the highlights, but it didn't look like a fight that was really that competitive. I mean, if you just look at the total strikes here, Corey Sandhagen far outweighed Rob Fonten's strikes. Significant strikes as well. Corey Sandhagen 7 for 7 on takedowns. Submission attempts as well. So, I mean, this is a good win for Corey, but unfortunately, probably won't help him get a title shot after this fight. He'll probably have to do one more fight and then maybe get a title shot, just because it wasn't that exciting, unfortunately. Other fights in the card didn't really care here. Um, I think they got this one wrong here. I thought Jessica Andrade submitted Tatiana Suarez, but it says the other way around. I don't know if that's correct or not. I did end up watching this Ignacio Bahamondes fight against Ludovic Klein. That was a pretty good fight. I mean, the guy Klein just kind of beat the piss out of him the entire time. Um, Other than that, yeah, I didn't really watch anything else. But okay. Next fight card is going to be a fight night with Vicente Luque versus Rafael dos Anjos. That's this weekend. I might actually watch this depending on where I'm at. This weekend I'm probably going to Connecticut for my friend's barbecue. So we might just put this on in the background, but we'll see. I mean, I kind of only really care about the Vicente Luque Rafael dos Anjos fight. Everything else I don't really care about. Um, but yeah, after that it's UFC 292, which is the Aljamain Sterling Sean O'Malley fight. That's gonna be a banger. Um, Excuse me. Definitely want to watch that. Probably just end up watching the highlights or watch it the day after because it starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and it is in Boston. So um, that is going to be a tough watch to ask me to stay up that late. Quick breakdown. I think Aljamain Sterling beats Sean O'Malley. I think Zhang Wei Li beats Amanda Lemos. And then I don't care about any other fight on the card except for this Marlon Vera Pedro Munoz fight. I think Marlon Vera wins, but I think it's probably gonna be close. Anything on the prelims? Chris Weidman's fighting. That's interesting. Early prelims. I don't really care. And then after that, it's the Max Holloway Korean Zombie fight. So that'll be interesting. Keep an eye out for that, but it's unfortunately not a huge breakdown on the Sandhagen Rob Font card, unfortunately, but glad Corey won. But I also wanted to mention the Jake Paul Nate Diaz fight. Jake Paul ended up winning by decision. From the highlights that I watched, it looked like Jake just looked a whole lot more crisp. It looks like his boxing was significantly better from his last fight, and it looked like Nate Diaz did the typical Nate Diaz thing where he just kind of takes a lot of hits to try and like give back, but he never really got off enough, unfortunately, which sounds kind of weird, no cap. But it just sounded like he just didn't get enough. He's like a counter striker, counter puncher, but he didn't produce enough volume. Obviously, he got better as the fight goes on, which is in typical Nate Diaz style, but it didn't pay off enough. So I mean, Jake wins. I don't know what happens next, but they did announce the Logan Paul Dylan Damas boxing in October, which should be interesting. I don't know how that's gonna look, but I'll probably keep my eye out for it. I don't know of any other good boxing um, matches coming up, but if I see anything, I will mention it. But here we have the results. So Jake Paul beats Nate Diaz via unanimous decision. Amanda Serrano beat Heather Hardy via unanimous decision. Chris Avila beat Jeremy Stevens via unanimous decision. Ashton Sylvie beat William Sylvia via KO. Um, Shadeja Green, beat Olivia Curry via unanimous decision, and Alan Sanchez beat Angel Beltran via unanimous decision. So I mean, kind of one-sided overall, but I don't know. I didn't really watch the card, so is what it is. All right, on to the next is going to be LPL. We had some cool stuff going on in the LPL in terms of the regional finals, but I want to go back real quick into the summer playoffs because that happened. Um, Somehow, as you can see here, LNG ended up beating BLG 3-1. I watched a decent amount of that series, and it just looked like LNG was just playing way better than them on the day. Um, and it goes to show because in the finals, JDG and LNG went to 5 games. It was JDG beat LNG 3-2. Let me see if I can pull up the. No, I can't. I want to actually pull up the game score, but does it show right here? No. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't show right here what the game was, how it played out. But if you guys want to see some high quality League of Legends, definitely go back and watch this JDG LNG 5 game series. Very high quality. Um, kind of cool to see LNG go that far. I just thought BLG and JDG were head and shoulders above everybody else, but now it just goes to show that LNG is now in the mix. And then we had the regional finals happen relatively recently. Actually, last game I think was today. Yeah, it was with so the first round, LNG beat EDG obviously 3-1. I mean, they're just way better. And then Top Esports lost to Weibo Gaming 3-2. I didn't watch this series. Kind of wanted Top Esports to go over Weibo just because I like more players on Top Esports. But you know, what can you do? And then Weibo ended up beating EDG 3-1. I watched the majority of the series. EDG just doesn't look good, so kind of sucks. But I would much rather Top Esports go than Weibo Gaming. But your 4 teams going to Worlds from China #1, as you can see for the 2023 Worlds qualifying. So it's going to be JDG, BLG, LNG, and Weibo Gaming. Kind of cool to see Cloud9 and RNG already qualified for Worlds as well. I think that's about it for qualifications. We'll go through. This world's gonna be crazy. I think these 3 teams are really, really good. Weibo not so much, but JDG, BLG, and LNG I think are really fucking good right now. So I think LNG might have some trouble with some of the Korean teams, but we will see. LNG does have a pretty stacked roster. But going into the LCK really quickly, playoffs are starting. Hanwha Life 3-0'd DRX, which I kind of expected. Also, I just like Hanwha Life over DRX anyway, just because I don't like any of the players on DRX really anymore. And Hanwha Life, they have like Viper and who's on their roster? Player roster. Yeah, they have King and Grizzly, Zeka, Viper, Life, and Clid. Luckily, Clid has been moved to substitute because he is playing like shit. So the new guy Grizzly actually seems to be playing well, but King and Zeka, world champions as of last year. Viper, previous world champion as well, and then Life's just a solid support player. So love to see that. And then going back really quickly, next series is going to be Dalmon Kia versus T1. This is going to be hotly contested. I don't know what is going to happen. I need to see when is this match up. It's tomorrow actually, so we'll see when that happens. It's like 4 in the morning or some shit like that. Um, Due to recent form, I would say T1 loses, but we'll see. Teams that I would like to see go to Worlds would probably be KT, Genji, T1, and Hanwha Life. But if Dalmon goes over T1, I'm not really gonna be upset. You know what I mean? I just think Dalmon's a solid team, and T1 is a little bit overhyped, especially since they just dropped a bunch of games because Faker wasn't in the roster, and they seem to be terrible whenever Faker is not playing or when Faker's not playing well. So, um, East with the D's. Going back quickly. Um, yeah, so then KT and Gen G. So these are going to be cool. Probably now that LPL is over, we're just going to be focusing mostly on the other leagues. Okay, is this be freaking out? LEC doesn't start until August 19th, so it's going to be a couple of weeks, unfortunately. That'll probably start by next time I put out 2 episodes from now. 2 episodes from now. So be tuned for that. And North America is starting up again in terms of the playoffs. You've already got 100 Thieves and TSM knocked out. You can see here in round 4, Energy and C9 face off against each other to get a spot for the finals. Either way, both of those teams are locked for Worlds. Um, where are we at? We got games coming up again in 2 days. So today is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You've got TLEG. That's going to be a really close match. I think this is Lucid Bracket. Then Golden Guardian Dignitas. I think Dignitas gets absolutely crapped on by Golden Guardians, but who knows? I mean, NRG just beat them 3-1, so we will see. Keep an eye out for those games. So it's the 10th and the 11th, and then the other round 3 here, and then round 4. But um, keep an eye out. We will be talking about it. But I believe that is going to be it for the League of Legends portion. I want to talk quickly about IEM Cologne, which I watched a little bit of. It was actually pretty entertaining. G2 ended up beating ENTS to win first place, and they get to go to IEM Katowice automatically from that. I kind of like how the bracket breaks down. So they have the play-ins here with all these teams, and 4 teams qualify, and then actually 8 teams qualify from the play-ins. Um, and they have this huge upper bracket stage and lower bracket stage. I'm not sure how they are determined, but it's still pretty cool. You just get to see all these teams playing. And then you have the Group A and Group B, which are also split into upper and lower brackets, so it's pretty confusing. So for the upper bracket, 2 teams qualify, and the lower bracket, only 1 team qualifies. So from each group, 3 teams qualify. So it ends up being a 6-team playoff, um, which is kind of wild. But as you can see, here G2 kind of just stomped on everybody in terms of the playoffs. So they 2-0'd Astralis, and they 3-1'd ENTS. So congratulations to them. That's really cool. But I'm going to try and pay attention to more CSGO events, tournaments, shit like that. I do believe the next thing to happen is going to be Season 18 of the ESL Pro League. Yeah, that does start up, is that October 1st? It looks like October 1st. It's going to be in Malta. Um, I think that's the most recent thing that's coming up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I see anything else in terms of tournaments, ESL tournaments coming up, let me know. I will let you guys know. But it's gonna be it for the ESL stuff, I believe. Anything else I wanted to talk about? Let me take a look at my list of stuff. No, I think it's just going to be anime reviews. So I ended up finishing Hell's Paradise here. My anime list gives it a 8.16. I think that is pretty spot on. I'd maybe give it an 8.25. A little bit confusing, but things start to get, I guess things unravel like throughout the um, season. So it's like kind of gives you a little bit more information. You kind of like don't really understand anything until like the last like 3 episodes or so. Um, but the animation is insane. The voice acting obviously really good, and the story is like what I would think is super unique. Um, so Definitely check it out. I'm excited to see season two. And there's like some developments with the main character at the end of like the season where you just like don't really know if he is like brainwashed or if he like had memories implanted in him or whatever the fuck. But definitely worth checking out. But also don't get attached to any of the characters. It's like Game of Thrones where a bunch of characters die really quickly. And then the other one that I finished, where are we? Was this one right here? Kaminaki Sekai, so working for a god in a godless world. It was alright. My anime list has a 6.7. I'd probably give it just a 6. Animation was obviously through the roof, but kind of interesting plot line, storyline, whatever. Um, but like, if you didn't watch this one, you're not missing a whole lot. So if you're kind of interested in the description of it, check it out, but don't get your hopes up. I think they're probably gonna do a second season, but the animation was insane. But a lot of like typical like anime tropes and shit like that. But definitely check it out for that one. But yeah, 6.79. I give it about a 6. But I think that's going to be it. A little bit of a quicker episode. Just want to get this out here, be back on the consistency. Normally I try to do about a half an hour, but this is closer to half an hour, like a quarter hour. But we will be seeing you guys next week. I am going to try to pump out an episode, even though I'll be in Connecticut. So be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna try and have some more to talk about. Um, and try and keep everything consistent and updated. So, thank you guys for listening and watching. If you're not watching on YouTube, please go to the YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. All that shit helps the algorithm, so I appreciate it. The podcast a little bit better on YouTube because you actually see me doing stuff with my mouse and my cursor. I don't have the camera yet, so it is what it is. But all my links down in the description below. Appreciate you guys. I know nobody listens, but fuck it, why not? Thanks again, and peace.